Hello, people. This is Jay Kaushal, motivational speaker and life coach. And I actually read your comments on the previous video on Rahu Ketu and the compass of karma. And I was actually reading your comments in general. So a lot of you asked, do Rahu and Ketu behave, do they behave in a special way when they're in their own nakshatras? Or, each other's nakshatras? And actually, that seems on the surface a very simple question. But there is a lot of depth to that. And so whoever picked that, whoever, was able to spot, okay, so does this mean anything when you have Rahu in Ashwini, or when you have Ketu in Moola, when you have Ketu in Magha, when you have Rahu in Sattva, is something special happening there? When the nodes of the moon, Rahu and Ketu, are in their own nakshatras or each other's nakshatras, as in Rahu in Moola, Ketu in Sattva, Ketu in Ardra, Rahu in Magha. Well, thing is, it really is intense energy. Okay? And once again, I'll suggest that you watch this video at one go, spend time to understand the concept, instead of just watching it for entertainment, if you want to get the best out of this. Okay? So, settle down. Tea, coffee, whatever, suits you. Get it. And settle down to understand in depth the importance of Rahu and Ketu in their own nakshatras. What really makes this different? Okay? So, let's start with, first of all, looking at the nakshatras of Rahu and Ketu. Rahu rules Sattva, Rahu rules Ardra, Rahu rules Swati. All three of these nakshatras have a lot to do with movement. Ardra is a very movement-oriented, free-spirited energy because it is associated with Rudra. Rudra is the untamed, hyper-masculine form of Shiva. Okay? It's only when Rudra cooled down with time that he was able to become the super peaceful Shiva. This God that we see in meditative state. It took a lot of storms for him to turn into that. Okay? So that's the nature of Ardra's energy. Then you look at Sattva. Sattva, also represented by the horse, but this is a female horse. This is also a nakshatra of 100 physicians, but it has a lot of this energy of movement, a lot of this energy of exchange, healing. And this is not healing where you are out there proactively healing others. This is where there's a lot of movement of people being attracted towards you that you need to heal. Okay? I've seen Sattva prominent, a lot in individuals who have a natural healing tendency or are doctors. Okay, physiotherapists. My grandfather had his, I think, moon in Sattva, and even though he was a mathematician, he was very good at Ayurveda. He was very good at homeopathy. In fact, quite often we used to rely on his medicine before going to the doctors. Very talented man, well versed in the Vedas, well versed in Sanskrit scriptures, mathematics, and a lot of languages. Sattva can kind of create an energy which is interested in a lot of different things. Okay? Then you have Swati, which is literally the embodiment of Pavanadev, Lord of the Wind. Okay? It's represented by a blade of grass, waving in the wind. Its power is also the power to disperse, the power to spread. Swati is the nakshatra of the quintessential social elite, the vlogger, the business person, the deal maker, the trader. Okay? So now, can you see that there is a common pattern in Rahu's nakshatras? Can you see it? Great. Now let's look at Ketu's nakshatras. Magha, the nakshatra of the Pitris, your origins. Moola, the foundations Interesting. Ashwini. Ashwini is about healing. And Ashwini is not just any kind of healing. Ashwini is bringing to the fore a kind of healing that you can say doesn't sort of exist. Ashwini has a very novel energy that is associated with it. Okay? So you can see that the nakshatras of Ketu are very introverted, reflective, although they're very powerful. These are some of the most powerful nakshatras in Vedic astrology. These are represented by some of the most powerful energies as well. Okay? Pitris are very important. Pitris are actually who rule the Amavasya Tithi. Okay? So when I'm shooting this right now, and when I'm going to be posting this, it's Amavasya Tithi. So Pitris are the nearest to your physical existence in this Mrityu Loka. They're very powerful. Your forefathers, right? If your forefathers have done a lot of bad stuff, obviously your standing in society is not going to be that good. If your forefathers have done a lot of good stuff, you will automatically experience kind of respect associated with your name. Okay, that kind of a thing. Moola is the foundational energy, goddess Kali, Kundalini energy, right? And then, of course, you have Ashwini, which is about healing, which is about taking action. It's a very mystical, no holds barred kind of energy. Yes, it represents a lot of movement because it is the masculine horse, right? But Ashwini, before everything else, is about bringing to the world something which is new, something which defies odds, so to speak. Why? Because the Ashwin Kumars used to travel the world, the demigods, the sons of Surya, conceived when he, made love to his wife Sanjana, and they were both in the form of a horse and a mare. There's a complete story associated with it. Go watch my video on Ashwini Nakshatra, you'll find that out. Okay? So, one of the problems that the Ashwin Kumars had, the Devas had with Ashwin Kumars, is that the Ashwin Kumars would bring anybody to life. They'd be like, no, we want to heal. We will just do our thing. We will heal whoever we think we need to heal. Okay? So, very autonomous energy. Now, when you have Rahu in his own nakshatras, irrespective of what Tara they are in, I have found the Tara concept to be very relevant when you're looking at planets in nakshatras, especially if you're looking at the nodes in nakshatras. Okay, the Tara concept really points out to a lot of great patterns. So even if it's a bad Tara, the uninitiated Tara is basically from the reference point of your moon nakshatra in the order of the Vimshottari Dashas. You count which star a particular, nakshatra falls in. That's the Tara. Okay, look it up. If you have any confusion, I'll make a proper video about it. But just stay with me. Just focus on where I'm taking you. Don't lose yourself in the specifics. Okay? So, I've seen that even if you have a bad Tara, even if you have a bad house placement, even if you have a very malefic influence on Rahu or Ketu, when they are in their own nakshatras, there is a certain clarity that is associated with working with that energy. Is it easy? No. It's never easy working with the nodes. Is it simple? Yes. Massively simple. Why? Okay, I'll give you an instance. Rahu and Ardra can really be the embodiment of destruction, embodiment of death and rebirth, embodiment of destroying an order and rebuilding a new one from scratch. Okay? It really has Shiva's energy of death and rebirth associated with it. Look at when Rahu was transiting up in Ardra, important things that have happened. Dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's one of the most famous events that has taken place, right? When Rahu was in Ardra. Look what that did to the world. A new world order. A new kind of force. A new arms race. Okay? Huge changes. Okay? Now, look at Rahu and Ardra, what it did recently when we had the pandemic. What did that do? Once again, new world order. Suddenly, companies realize, man, we can save a lot of money by asking these guys to work from home. And we'll make them work more by guilt tripping them that you're working from home, you're supposed to do more, right? Not only that, lots of other stuff. Lots of companies were wiped out in this period, and uh, China lost out on a lot of share in the world. Countries start looking at it in a very different way, and all sorts of things that happened. So with Rahu and Ardra, okay, or for that matter, Rahu and Swati, or for that matter, Rahu and Satabishar, the energy is pretty straightforward. Do this, and this will happen. The experience of that thing happening in itself may not be pleasant, but there's a clarity. You know with clarity that, no, I need to go in this direction. I have to. There's no other way. For example, confronted with the pandemic, there is no other way. You have to innovate. You have to come out with vaccinations. You have to come out with, ways to work with it. Different protocols for security, social distancing, whatever it is that we have to do, right? That's something which you inherently cannot ignore. It stares you in the face. That's what the energy of Rahu is. It's very progressive. And once Rahu is in his own nakshatra, no matter how difficult the placement is, you're able to work with it in an easy way. In the same way, when Ketu is in his own nakshatra, Ketu in Moola, Ketu in Mala, Ketu in Ashwini. Ketu is an energy of self-sufficiency. Ketu is an energy of autonomy. Ketu says, you don't control me. That's the energy of Ketu. Okay, Ketu is Mars times 10. That's essentially what Ketu is. Okay, so there's something very interesting. Now, I can not talk about, what you say, Ketu, and bring this up. Autistic individuals, if you look at autistic children, what's the problem with autistic people? Their inner world is so vibrant, the inner chatter is so much, the inner stimulation is so much that they just cannot handle any outer stimulation. If any of you, have an autistic member of the family, have an autistic child, you will know that quite often autistic children, they want to express love, they want to express connection. They don't have the right tools in their external environment to be able to do so. So even the slightest things that you do, like music, trying to hug them, trying to kiss them, it does something in their mind where they can't handle the load. Quite often I have seen, like most of the time I've seen, 99% of the time I've seen, with autistic individuals, there is some dysfunction going on in their chart with respect to Ketu. So Ketu, if it's working well, is the energy of self-sufficiency, where I don't need you, I don't need this, I don't need anybody. I'm okay. I'm doing fine. Ketu individuals, if you want to spot a Ketu individual, first of all, anybody who has Ketu working in the best way possible, you'll probably never be able to imagine that they are Ketu dominant people. Because they'll be the happiest, they'll be busy with their own stuff, they'll have a huge balance in their life where it's suspiciously perfect. Okay, that's how Ketu individuals are if Ketu is working well for them. They're self-sufficient. There's nothing that you can, you can't buy these guys. You can't tempt these guys. Okay? Ketu, if it's not working well, will still keep you embroiled and absorbed in your own issues so that you're unable to focus on the outer world. Okay? But Ketu, when he's in his own nakshatra, makes you conscious about it. Ketu in Magha, I know, and that's what I'm going to do. Simple. I don't have a way to explain it. I don't have a way to justify it. I don't have a way to get you on board with it. I just know that this is what I need to do, and I'm going to do it. That's what Ketu in Magha is. Okay? Ketu in Ashwini. This is what I feel called to produce, to create, to heal, and I'm just going to do it. I don't have reasons for it. I can't waste time justifying myself about it. This is what I feel that I must do, and I'm going to do it. Simple. I'm going to take action. I'm going to move towards it. Okay? Ketu in Moola. this is what I feel drawn towards, and I'll probably hide it from the world. I don't feel the need to share. I don't feel the need to explain. But I can't help but be drawn to the depths of whatever that thing is. It could be your sexuality, it could be family business, it could be research, it could be mathematics, whatever it is. Okay? So when Ketu is in his own nakshatras, that's also a very good energy. Everything's pretty clear. There's a lot of clarity. The nodes where they F you up is when they start making you confused. That's when your compass is not showing you the right direction. As I talked about in the previous video, as I've talked about in the hundreds of articles that I've written on Rahu and Ketu, right? And lots of shorts and videos that I've posted here on this channel. Rahu and Ketu are like your compass. That's what you need to follow. They're going to show you where you need to go. They may not show you exactly what you're supposed to do, but they will show you where you need to go. And so when that compass is not working well, that's the problem. The experiences that it gives you, even if it's bad, but if there's a clarity associated with going in that direction, you'll be able to overcome it. Why is that? Because Rahu and Ketu represent aspects of your consciousness, whether it be your unconscious mind, whether it be your conscious mind, whether it be, just your soul's purpose that you naturally feel that I need to move towards. In which case, I took the example of archetypes and the collective unconscious as well in the previous video. Right now, when, however, you have the nodes exchanging nakshatras, or let's say in each other's nakshatras, yes, that's very interesting. Why is that? Because this is what happens. This is how energy flows in a chart. When you have, let's say, Rahu in Moola, or when you have, let's say, Ketu in Ardra, okay? Rahu in Moola, let's take this example. Rahu in Moola. This is a direction that you naturally feel that you need to move towards. You feel you need to go to the depth of things. You feel that you really need to pursue what this is, get down to the bottom of it. Whether it is understanding society, whether it is understanding yourself, whether it is understanding your family, whatever it is. But since it's Rahu, since your soul doesn't have a lot of experience with it, every time you go in that direction, there's this fear that comes up, okay? But since that nakshatra is ruled by Ketu, which is on the other side, you do know, okay, you know what? I know where I need to go to build my foundation on this topic. Let me do that and come back, okay? And so you go back to Ketu, wherever Ketu is sitting, you focus on that, and then you come back. And then you try to move towards that energy again. There's a lot of to and fro movement, okay? Now, let's say you have Rahu and Ashwini. I must heal something. I must start something. I must be myself. I must be autonomous. That's what I need to do. I want to get there fast. I want to do this fast. Okay? I want to do it my way. But just when the opportunity comes for you to do that, it's tough. You freeze. It's difficult for you. How do you deal with it? You go back towards where Ketu is. You work with what Ketu is trying to tell you. Okay? Because Ketu rules that nakshatra. So there's a lot of this to and fro energy that you must get out of the way first until you can achieve escape velocity at 42. Okay? Or 48. Around about this time period when Rahu matures, which is 42, and Ketu matures, which is 48. Okay? So what this does is, when Rahu is in Ketu's nakshatra and Ketu is in Rahu's nakshatra, in a scenario like that, there is it's kind of like nodes are already retrograde, but this kind of works like the nodal energy working in, if I were to really complete it, compare it to something, it's kind of like nodal energy working in retrogression, for want of a better word. It keeps you moving in that loop in an insane way until you finally get clarity and you get out of it, you break out of it, and you break out big. Okay? You break out big. You're like, whatever I had to learn, I have learned. Whatever I had to master, I have mastered. Whatever contemplation was required, I've put in. I am going big with this. Okay? That is what happens. Now, here's the thing. Let's take an example, okay? Let's take Ketu in Ardra. What happens is, let's say Ketu in Ardra, you naturally are a free-thinking individual. You naturally are a very dynamic individual. You naturally are a very powerful, even dangerous individual. Not necessarily in the bad sense. Okay? Ardra is like a live wire. It's thunder and lightning. That's what Ardra is. It's the storm. Ketu and Ardra, that's what you naturally are. But you're trying to grow out of that energy. The thing is that you're trying to grow out of it. But every time that something bad happens in your life, that's what you naturally rely on. Okay? Ketu and Ardra. I naturally rely on my autonomous nature. I naturally rely on, Ardra can be lots of things. Ardra can even represent what you say, a very destructive pattern within yourself. Could be like addictions and things of that sort. Okay? This is where it becomes a little bit dysfunctional. Because that's not the natural energy of Ketu. Ketu doesn't really understand it properly. Okay? And so you deal with it. You realize, no, this is not it. Then you go back again. Then you go back again. But since you move towards Rahu and Rahu rules that nakshatra, then you come back again. Why? Because there is some unresolved karma associated with it. That is why you have your Ketu there. Whenever you have Ketu in Rahu nakshatras, just understand that in this lifetime, before anything else, there is one thing that you need to learn, that you need to master, ideally, but mastery is not something that comes very easily, But what you have to remain conscious of is that first, I must learn to let go of desire. Then all of my blessings will flow towards me in my 40s. Because Ketu, every time you move towards desire, it's going to keep bringing you back to Ketu, which is in that, it's going to keep triggering that nakshatra. Why? Because it's ruled by Rahu. Let's say, Ketu in Ardra. Okay? Every time you try to go towards wherever Rahu is sitting in your chart, let's say Ketu in Ardra in the 12th, Rahu is in your 6th house. Every time you go towards Rahu in 6th, overcoming enemies, overcoming competition, overcoming difficulties, competing, moving ahead, it's got to bring you back again and show you the mirror. Look, this is what you need to deal with. Have you dealt with this yet? This is a pending file in this project. Please go get it signed. And you're going to find yourself stuck there. Ketu and Ardra, this is not how I want to be. I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be this angry person. I don't want to be this self-destructive individual. I don't want to be this macho, self-contained person. Okay? When you release desire, when you go towards Rahu, you're like, okay, you know what? I must do this. Let me see what I can do. Let me just show up and do what I can do. Suddenly Ketu and Ardra comes alive. It gives you that extra oomph, extra pulse, extra energy that you require to get it done. Okay? So whenever you have Rahu in Ketu's nakshatras, or when you have Ketu in Rahu's nakshatras, understand the first thing that you need to overcome is that you need to learn to overcome desire. First, put it out of the way. That you know what? Sure, I have to do what I have to do, but I don't have to be too obsessed with it. Fine. Maybe it's meant to be difficult. That's the first thing. Second thing that you need to do. When you have Rahu in Ketu's nakshatras, or when you have Ketu in Rahu's nakshatras, the second thing that is required is for you to bring about a consciousness with respect to finding a balance in both these energies that you're working with. Okay? With Rahu in Ardra, with Rahu in Sattvisha, with Rahu in Swati, the energy is straightforward. This is where I need to go. It's going to take sacrifices. I have to move in this direction. The only way is forward. Okay? Like that. With Ketu, there is a self-containment associated with it. a surrender to the divine, a coming back to the self. No. I know what I know. I know what I know. Okay? But when you have the reverse, that's when you have to understand that you kind of being made to move around in a loop until your 40s, until this energy matures, where it can catapult you to more than you had imagined, more than you had hoped for, provided you don't, build a lot of resentment in the process. You don't let the desire consume you. Because that happens all the time, as with retrograde planets. It's very easy for you to start blaming it. It's very easy for you to, get lost in negative patterns. It's very easy for you to start saying, my life is difficult, I'm screwed, and then nothing will happen. Let me tell you that. But if you're patient, and if you look at it from this perspective from now on, okay, so it's kind of changing the influence of Rahu Ketu in the way that the influence changes with a planet which is direct and retrograde. You will get all your answers. Okay? So I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments what you think. I'm very happy to, answer a few comments and keep this discussion going. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so that you can stay abreast of all the wonderful content that I post here. Push the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time I post. And also, if you want to learn Vedic astrology the way that I practice it, if you want to learn the art and science of astro life coaching, then you should check out the upcoming batch, the winter batch, or as you would say, the fall batch. In a few weeks, 50+ hours of live interactions and lectures, doubt sessions, discussions, study material, PDFs, exercises, and you also get the opportunity to work with me. I mean, if everything goes well in the course, etc., you qualify for it with the amount of case studies, etc., that you submit, the amount of participation that you show, you get experience with live cases, live sessions. There's a lot of interesting work that we do. Okay, so that is something that interests you. If you think about becoming a coach, if you think about becoming an astro, life coach, helping others, guiding others, it's a unique system that I have been teaching. This is the third batch, where we're combining concepts of Vedic astrology with NLP, with CBD, with concepts of life coaching to provide guidance to individuals who need it. Okay, to provide coaching all along the lines of their archetype, their soul's journey in this lifetime. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Take care.